And this one was like a hard plot to get behind.
And I was like, red flag. Immediate red flag.
We're all bookish. We're all yearning. I have a slight hot take.
What does she see in Mike? I don't get it. Like, this is stupid. Just be with Chris.
Welcome back to Book Talks Podcast. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
And our book of the month, we started a book club on Fable. So please join if you're not on Fable yet. Or if you are on Fable, please join our book club. So we have been picking books every month since we started it maybe in February. And this is the first time we're actually recording our book of the month in time to release it by the end of the month. So kudos to us. And that book of the month is Abby Jimenez, The Night We Met. So this literally came out at the end of March. So very new release. And I fear this episode might be boring because we love this book so much. I think we're funnier when we don't like the book.
It's true. We do so much better when things are negative. Because when we like it, we just agree and we just talk. I mean, okay, our Red Rising video did pretty well, but I think that's just because Red Rising's so popular. I don't know that we weren't interesting. I fear it's going to be the same for this one because we love Abby Jimenez. She can do no wrong. She can write nothing bad. It does not matter what she writes. Like, we're going to read it. So, I mean, this will just be like a love letter to Abby Jimenez.
I have a slight hot take. I think I like Abby Jimenez's books more than Emily Henry's books.
I don't feel that's a hot take because I agree.
I feel like people I like Emily Henry's books a lot, but these are like crack. Like, I don't know what Abby puts in these, but I literally can't put it down. Like, I got it. It was like a Thursday night. I don't know what day of the week it was, but I got it at night. I read half of it before I even got home. I was loving it so much. And then I woke up early so I can finish it. And I had it done in a day, pretty much a day, 24 hours it was done. It's just so good. And this one was a hard plot to get behind.
Well, okay. I mean, so what I did on our Fable book club is I asked for people's feedback, their opinions, all that stuff. And everyone seemed to really like the book. So I kind of expected everyone to just be like, 5 stars for me. But then Chrissa, she's in our book club. She brought something up that it also resonated with me. And I might not have brought up if Chrissa hadn't first brought it up. So shout out to Chrissa. Essentially, the plot of this book is that Larissa, the main female character, chooses the wrong guy. The night she meets these 2 guys, they both offer her a ride home, and she chooses Mike.
Wait. We should probably do a spoiler warning.
Whoops. No one knows how it ends. How does it end? No one knows.
Well, no, I think you actually just kind of gave the synopsis.
Yeah, that's
true. You kind of get the gist. But yeah, spoiler warning. We will spoil everything about this book. So if you have not read it yet, dip out of here, come back, and then give it a listen. Okay, continue.
Yes. Very good catch because I'm not sure where I was going, but I'm sure things would have been very quickly spoiled. But yeah, no, you very quickly learn she belongs with Chris. It's just so obvious. They are best friends, or they develop this best friendship. They have so much in common. So this whole book, you're kind of like, is she emotionally cheating on Mike? Because she's with Mike. She's in a relationship with Mike. She even learns to love Mike eventually. And even though they never cross certain boundaries, they definitely don't cross a physical boundary, I would probably say it's emotional cheating in the sense that we don't see much of her relationship with Mike, so maybe she was getting something out of it emotionally. But from what I can tell, she wasn't getting anything out of that relationship with Mike other than he's a good, fun time. Which, great, good for you, have a good, fun time, but not if you're developing this actual, real, in-depth relationship with someone else. And that's kind of what we saw. And what Chrissa brought up is just that was a little hard to navigate. And as you're reading, you're not really sure how Abby Jimenez is going to resolve it because Mike and Chris are best friends. So you don't want their friendship ruined, but you also desperately want Larissa and Chris to be together. And she's with Mike throughout most of the book.
Yeah. So I don't know if I told you this already, but when I went to her lecture, for those who don't know, I went to her lecture in New York City, and she said that she was set to write this book first, because this book follows Say You'll Remember Me. It's like the same friend group, and she felt like this was really hard to write, and she wasn't ready for it. So she wrote Say You'll Remember Me, and then she came back to this one and wrote this one because she wanted to make sure she got it right because it is so hard. And yet, like she made it work. A very hard trope to write. Like you were rooting for basically her to dump him and go to his best friend. Like I in real life, if I was like friends with her or if I was friends with him, I'd be like, y'all are crazy. But for this, I was rooting for them. Oh my gosh, they were yearning so much. That's what I said. We're all bookish. We're all yearning. I brought that up in like our, was it March wrap up? Was I right in that phrase?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are all yearning. We need that. We still need that on t-shirts. And it was hard because it's like very clearly I wanted her to be with Chris. There was no doubt she needed to be with Chris. She clearly, I mean, that became her best friend. But I didn't hate Mike as much as I thought I was going to. When it first started, I think I was on like page 30 or something. And I remember posting in our Fable book club something like, what does she see in Mike? I don't get it. Like, this is stupid. Just be with Chris. But as the book goes on, you kind of learn more about Mike. And like, he's not a bad guy. He has some PTSD from, well, I say PTSD. I guess I don't know his official diagnosis, but he had a sports injury. He thought he was going to be this big time sports guy. And in high school or college, he had a sports injury. And now he's like, working as a plumber in his family business. That's really what he should be doing. As we learn in the book, he's trying to make it as a personal trainer. And so he's not picking up as much plumbing hours as he really should be. And so that causes some things. But I feel for him because I can't imagine having this like big dream, thinking your life is set, thinking you have this amazing thing that's going to happen. And now you're stuck in the family business that you don't want to do. You can't get your personal training thing to take off. You finally start dating this amazing girl, but you have some internal demons and struggles that you haven't worked through yet. And so you can't even be the person you want to be for someone else. Like it made me feel really bad for him. And I was glad when you told me what you told me that Abby said about Mike.
Yeah, I think it's public news now. Like the next book is Mike's book.
Mhm.
So, and I think that will be also really interesting because again, like Mike's on a high note. We don't think super highly of him. I
Mm-mm.
still believe even if he was at his best, he would still like it would still not work out with Larissa because they're just so polar opposites. Like he even I guess now he's not really drinking. I think he does he go to rehab? I forget.
I don't know if he goes to rehab. I know he's sober though at the end of the book.
So like I mean, but it sounds like even without drinking, he's the life of the party. Like he loves being around people and like feeds off that energy. He's like definitely like a textbook extrovert, and Larissa's like a textbook introvert, same as Chris. So like they just make more sense. It's like I don't know. It's funny. I feel like Mike liked the idea of her,
Mm.
and I don't know if he ever got to really like. I know he tried. He like tried to read and try to like find hobbies, but like it was more just like the idea of who she was, and like I don't think he ever fully got her. And yeah, like I think in the end, even if he was at his best and he wasn't dealing with his demons, it still wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is he probably feels inadequate to some degree. You know, again, having dreamed of being this big time, I actually don't remember what sport he played, but whatever, big time sports guy. And now he's working in the family plumbing business. Meanwhile, his best friend, Chris, is this, you know, brings in the money as a pharmacist and, you know, like seems to have it all together. Chris has his own space. He's not living with his parents, right? That was the other thing. Mike lives with his parents. And there's nothing wrong with anything in Mike's life. And I say that as someone who lives with my parents. So maybe you disagree. For my sake, I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with that. But there's
A
nothing.
similar setup too. You're like the extension in the back.
Literally, he lived like in the casita off his parents' house, basically. And I live in the casita off mine. But there's nothing wrong with those things. I think, though, and I think we'll see it in his book. My guess is he's insecure about that. And I think that probably fed into why he wanted Larissa so badly because I told Kayla, from an outside perspective, it almost seemed like Larissa had it all together, even though she clearly didn't, right? She's struggling to make ends meet. She's working on these random side hustles to try and like make money. And then her car breaks down and her dad stole her credit. And so like she couldn't pay for her car and blah, blah, blah. We get to see from her chapters, like she does not have everything together. But when you read about her, at least like through Chris's eyes, and again, Chris is in love with her, so it's a little biased. But when you read through his eyes, she's got all this tenacious spirit. Like she's a hard worker. She gets things done. She doesn't let things stop her. She even talks about like taking the door you don't know as opposed to the door you know just because it's easier. Like she just has this energy about her that makes you want to be a better person for her or makes her seem like she's just this perfect, like I kind of imagined her as like really tall, like 5'8", 5'9", beautiful, just like skinny and pretty and like perfect skin and perfect eyes. Like I just saw this perfect image. And again, biased because we're seeing it all through Chris's eyes. But I feel like you said, maybe that's how Mike viewed her, as this like unattainable thing that, she chose him to go home with. And so he's kind of desperately trying to hold on to that as his own life crumbles around him.
Yeah. And so going into like Chris viewing she's perfect, what did make me uncomfortable is how much Chris provided for her. And I like think back to like even now with like me and Tom, like I'd like to keep things even. I know she really can't do that, but like I would feel so uncomfortable if someone paid for like if a boy I was just dating paid that much money for a car for me. Like I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to accept that.
Yeah. Well, and just to have context, I usually assume most people have read the book. However, I did learn, my friend from work, her name's Lysandra. Shout out Lysandra. She watches all our videos. She never reads the books before watching our videos. And I'm like, what are you doing? But
Love
no,
a supporter.
yeah, love a supporter. But she watches our videos. So for context, Chris was the one kind of with money and stuff and the one who like really looked out for Larissa, and Mike didn't really look out for her. So Chris was like, Mike, if I'm going to do XYZ for you, I want you to pay for her car. Like, get it out of the garage. She needs a car to get to work. She needs a car to make money. Just pick up some extra plumbing shifts. Do this for your girlfriend. Stuff like that. So, Mike was the one who got credit for doing these certain things, but really it was Chris behind the scenes kind of pulling the strings. But yeah, as Larissa, she's been dating him for, I mean, at that point, it wasn't
Official. They wasn't official at that point.
That's a good point. Yeah, it wasn't official. Like they weren't officially girlfriend, boyfriend. They definitely hadn't said I love you. And she let a guy spend $500 on her to get her car out of a shop.
I think it was like 2,000. Like it was a lot.
That's even worse. That's even worse. Larissa, you're crazy.
Couldn't do that. Even if I was like hitchhiking. I don't know if I maybe my pride is just too high, but like I could not have accepted that money because I feel like I feel like I would owe him.
Yes.
Like not even paying him back, but like I don't know, emotionally I feel like she was like almost like bought into dating him because she's like, oh, he has spent all this money on me, like maybe I should date him. It's like it's a sticky situation, and that was one thing I was like kind of icky about. And I knew she felt uncomfortable about it too, but
she did and she didn't, though, because the thing was, whenever Chris offered to do things for her, she was like, no, 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 no. Like, you don't need to buy me all this bread and you don't need, like, I'll pay you back. She was really weird about it with Chris. But when it came to Mike, I felt like she wasn't as weird about things. And I almost got the sense from her chapters that she thought Mike had it all together, that Mike was making money off the plumbing business. Like she didn't know he wasn't picking up as many shifts. She thought, oh, he's saving all this money living with his parents. And, he lives in this nice, cushy apartment, not apartment, it's casita, whatever, off his parents' house. And her friend, I forget her friend name, Lexi, maybe, but she kept saying, like, well, his parents buy the good soap and like he has the nice apartment and all that stuff. And I almost got the sense Larissa bought into this idea that, well, he could afford to take care of her. So it wasn't like as big of a deal. Whereas like when Chris did it, because they weren't dating and because she secretly liked him, she was kind of weird about it. So she was a little bit wishy-washy on that. So yeah, that was maybe a little bit of a character flaw on her part.
Also, Mike lied to her because he didn't really communicate his money problems to her. Especially the one scene that like makes me cringe, and I knew when you got to it, is the restaurant with her mother. So Mike like comes over, and her mom is very abrasive, and she's like a user. Like she not a user in alcohol, but like a user of people.
Mhm.
And she like pretty much guilts Mike taking me out to dinner to like this really nice steakhouse. Because again, I think her mother's under the impression that like Mike's wealthy, comes from a wealthy family, he has a good job. So she like makes him go to this nice restaurant, and like Mike doesn't speak up. I mean, I know it's awkward, but like he should have been like, I can't afford this. Like, let's just get burgers.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
and
awkward.
that was like a scene where I felt bad for Mike. The rest of the times that he messed up, I did not feel bad for Mike, but I felt bad for Mike in that situation because anything would have been awkward. He should have spoke up first, but and her mom like ordering all that stuff, I was so mad. But I mean, Larissa at that point, like she got like I think like a cheap thing, so like she wasn't over like using Mike.
Right.
They just needed to communicate. They just weren't good together.
No, and that was the other thing about the way this book is written. We really don't know how Larissa and Mike were on their own because we get Chris's perspective, which he's clearly in love with Larissa. And then in Larissa's perspective, she's always hanging out with Chris. And it's like, girl, do you even see your boyfriend? You're always with this other guy.
Well, so I read this a month ago, and I was thinking, I'm like, did they hang out? Did her and Mike hang out? Like, I feel like the only time I did is when they moved in together, which I feel like
Which
literally made her sick.
literally, she goes there to move in. He's passed out drunk, released bodily fluids on the carpet that were smelly. And literally, she lived with him for all of like 24 hours before I feel like she moved back out. So even that, I'm like, you really did not spend any time with Mike. But a lot of that was Mike's fault. Every time something was supposed to happen where they were going to be spending time together, Mike bailed on her because, as we learned, Mike had a bit of a drinking problem that he wasn't willing to admit to. And so that's why she was forced. Like, that's why Chris was kind of forced upon her time and time again because Mike was constantly calling Chris, like, oh, can you drive him to the hospital? Oh, can you go do this walk with her? And blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, I'm just not sure when her and Mike ever even saw each other because from the point of views we got, they really, I mean, it's a miracle she ever even learned to love him.
Yeah. No, it was confusing how they were even still dating.
Yeah. And two, okay, if you've been dating someone for 3 or 4 months and he says I love you and you can't say it back, I kind of feel like at that point you know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of when me and Tom said I love you back. I feel like it was like maybe like a month or two in.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe I'm weird about it, but every time Larissa was like, I just don't know why I can't stop thinking about Chris. Or Chris was like, it's just so weird that I can't stop thinking about Larissa. I just can't figure out why. I'm like, I know why. Like, I feel like when I like someone and I can't stop thinking about them, you know why. It's because you like them. So that was kind of unrealistic, the constant, like, oh, it's just so weird that I can't get Chris out of my head. What's that about? Why am I more sad about not seeing Chris than I am about Mike? It's like,
A form of denial because she knew she shouldn't have these feelings. But again, I think she was like in too deep. He paid so much money
oh,
for a
yeah.
car. She couldn't go back. She couldn't break up with him.
I might have even posted that in the Fable book club at one point. Like, I felt very trapped. Like,
Yeah.
reading it from Larissa's point of view because she is in too deep at that point. Like, by the time her and Chris really start hanging out and stuff, she's been dating Mike for a few weeks, maybe a month, something like that. She doesn't know yet she's going to fall in love with Chris. So then you start passing the 2-month mark and the 3-month mark and, oh, well, Mike's paying for her stuff and now Mike's telling her he loves her and it's like things are progressing. And also, you can't really break up with him to start dating his best friend. So at that point, you do maybe kind of feel trapped. Like, well, I'll just have to kind of ride this one out and see where it goes. And hopefully it all works out. Hopefully I learn to love him. But I mean, I felt really bad just like reading it, feeling trapped and like, oh man, I just wish she could get out of this. And what is the exit point? Because you're in love with his best friend. But even if you break up with Mike, you can't really be with the best friend. Like, that's not allowed.
Well, and that's why you couldn't put it down because you had to know how it was going to end. And she left it till like the last 2 chapters to really wrap it up. I mean, I was even thinking like there was pretty much zero smut in this book, which I loved.
Yeah.
Like it was a good book with I'd be on the list of like books that didn't need smut. It was still 5-star read, so recommend there. But I did not know how she was wrapping it up. Like whenever she was like kicked out of her mom's house, essentially, like she had to get out. She gets to Mike's. He's like peeing on the floor, and I felt like so bad. I'm like, she literally has nowhere to go. Like, what is this girl gonna do? And I was just like, Chris, take her home. Well, then was that when Chris showed up with the new girlfriend? And Larissa was like literal sick in the back seat. And she was like, I wonder why.
See, again, but like that was actually starting to piss me off because she was like, them holding hands, it makes me want to throw up. I just can't figure out why. It's like, Larissa, you've basically been dating Chris without physical touch for like 9 months. So like, I think we all know why it's making you sick.
She was just in so much denial. Yeah. And the cabin scene, like I needed, and almost you were rooting for Mike's demise in a way, like in some capacity.
But yeah.
And I was still shocked. I mean, I get it. But like also whenever like the peanut thing happened and like Mike kissed her with the peanuts, which he was an idiot with the peanut allergy. Like, I don't know when he was going to get it in his head that she can't be near peanuts, but it wasn't wrapping around there.
So I get it from like, he was drunk. So on the one hand, you can hold someone accountable for their actions when they're drunk. I'm not saying you can't, but I can at least see how a mistake may have been made when he was drunk. But on the other hand, Chris explicitly said, don't give these macaroons to anyone at the party. Don't let them eat them. And so the fact that he did, that was really crappy of him. But I was actually a little surprised that that was the thing that Larissa broke up with him over, because based on everything we'd learned about her, I almost just felt like it would be like, it was a mistake. Mike's a good guy. Like, I can justify it, because she was always kind of justifying his behavior and saying like, oh, but he did XYZ. So I was like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny that it literally took Mike almost killing her.
She like basically was trying to end it with him, which led to him getting really drunk.
Yeah.
Which led to him forcing himself to kiss her because she was like, no. And then killing her in that aspect. So like for Mike to do all that shitty thing, and then also for like, and his friends all saw how great Chris and Larissa were, for them to all be adamantly against it, I don't know. Maybe it's just the romantic in me, but if I was them, I'd be like, this is really bad luck. Maybe keep it under the wrap. Let's make sure Mike's good. But date.
Yeah. I thought the friends were really crappy at the end because, first of all, you just reminded me, Mike did like force himself on Larissa with that kiss. She was very adamant. No, like stop. And he like forced himself on her. Any one of the friends should have like ripped him off, punched him. I mean, I think Xavier and Chris, or maybe it was Jesse, I can't remember, but 2 of them did eventually grab Mike trying to like pull him off her. Like, dude, this is crazy. So I feel like at that point, the friends have now visibly seen that Mike and Larissa are not good together, that Mike needs to work on himself, that he clearly has some problems. And at that point, it should have been, yes, we need to support Mike in his journey to get back to who he is, to getting sober, to getting healthy, but also like, clearly they aren't going to work out. And if Larissa and Chris are in love, like we can still support that. Like I said, keep it kind of quiet, give Mike time to heal. But the fact that they were all like, Chris, you can't date her. I was like, he's a 30-year-old man. I think he can do what he wants, actually.
He literally said, watch me.
It's like, I'm going to date her harder now.
Move her in.
I'm not just going to date her. She's going to live with me. Yeah. No, that ending was so crazy, though. Like you said, there were 5 chapters left, and Mike's still trying to, like, earn Larissa's love back. He's like trying to get sober for Larissa. She's secretly living with Chris and falling more and more in love, but they aren't technically together. I'm like, this book is literally about to end. How are you wrapping this up? Because we are about out of pages here.
You were like
Stressful.
literally yearning for them to be together at that point. Like your heart hurt. Like you just wanted them to be together. No, it was really like it was a really good book. I would say it's one of my favorite romances that I've read this year,
Okay.
which I read a lot. So I'm
Where
trying
do
to
you
think of
rank
what
it
else.
in your Abby Jimenez lineup?
See, the issue is I read all her books too fast and then
Yeah.
I blank. Um, let me look at all of them. Let me look at the covers. Okay. I really loved Yours Truly. Actually, no.
Well,
That
that's the
one,
one
yeah.
I love.
No, I think I loved Just for the Summer. That one was probably one of my favorites. And then Yours Truly was a close second.
Yeah.
And Say You'll Remember Me also, like that one. And that we met. I feel like they keep getting better and better. And they were already so good. I would say I read Happy Ever After Playlist like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, like back in 2020. Like that was an early book for me. So I kind of forget what happened with that one. Same with The Friend Zone. I feel like read Life's Too Short together.
Did we?
Or maybe I
What's
read
that
this on
one
my
about?
own. She was actually, I feel like a YouTuber.
I can't remember. I don't have it on my shelf, so it makes me think maybe I didn't. But also, I often used to do romances just audibly, so it's possible I wouldn't have kept that one.
And then we received an arc for Part of Your World. But that one's probably my least favorite of them all.
I know. Like at this point, at the time, I remember thinking it was so good. Like, wow, this was amazing. And now I'm like, honestly, I think she's just gotten better with time.
Well, so the craziest thing I learned, and I feel like I might have said this on the last one, is that she literally had no formal training. She picked this hobby up as writing as an adult, as a mom, and she's quite incredible. It really is like if anyone can be a writer, if you have a story, just write it and keep writing because you could be the next Abby Jimenez.
I'm inspired. I'm going to start writing right now.
The,
Just kidding. I have no ideas in my head.
I actually I actually don't. I feel like all my artistic ideas are going into like content and like recording and having fun doing that with you. That I'm just vibing with books and I'm really excited reading. I would say her story is very inspiring. It makes you want to read more of hers. I actually think I want to reread uh some of hers again just because I feel like I forget because I just read them so fast. This one was really good.
What do you think? I already know what you think, so this is for the podcast, but what do you think about the people giving this bad reviews saying that stuff with Wolverine isn't realistic and some of this stuff would have never happened? Why don't you speak on that?
Okay, so my only complaint with Fable is so say I give a book a 5 star on Fable. On my feed, they just give me any review for that book and they'll give me 1 and 2 star like reviews. And I don't really want to see that. Like I wish they'd be like, oh, this girl gave 5 stars. We should only give her good reviews. Oh, this person gave like 1 star, so we should give her the bad reviews. So you relate to people. I don't want to see people disagree with me, but someone said this book was great except all the like dog scenes weren't realistic. When Abby literally said that all of these things happened to her dog. So take that. No, some people like, I feel like actually I saw a lot of 1 star reviews, but I think it's just because I saw a lot of 5 stars too. Like I saw a lot of mixed reviews. And I get maybe it's hard to get behind a plot like this, or maybe someone has had this happen to them and it's very triggering. I fortunately have never fallen for my boyfriend's best friend, so this isn't triggering for me, and I ate this up.
Yeah. I also would just like to say I did do this one on audio because we were taking the train into the city back and forth constantly, and I can't read on the train because of motion sickness. So I had it on Audible, and I was like, I'll just do it. And it was such a fast read that I ended up I finished it on the flight home. So I did do the whole thing on audio. And at the very start, she does give trigger warnings for literally things that I didn't even know required trigger warnings because I'm apparently very sheltered and didn't even know some of them would be triggering to people. So, I mean, she covers everything you could possibly like need at the beginning. So, I think more and more authors are doing that. And if you're someone who needs those trigger warnings, you should pay attention to them because this one definitely, like I said, that I forgot how Mike kind of forced himself on her, but she warns about that in the trigger warning. She says something about a kiss without consent or something like that. So she did a really good job with that. So I kind of just, if you're someone who is giving it a 1 star because it triggered you, maybe just like don't rate it or like give your review, but say like, hey, I had a personal issue with this and that's why I'm doing it. Because I kind of get tired. I feel like this happened with Sarah J. Mass and Nesta when we watched her interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And, everyone gets mad about, or the favorite pregnancy stuff or the Nesta stuff. And literally on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she was like, okay, but I wrote about that pregnancy stuff because it was literally happening to me. Like I was so terrified about my own pregnancy. So I wrote it into this book. Or I was dealing with depression. So I wrote it into Nesta. So when you go online and start bashing things and saying, oh, well, it's not realistic, or, oh, like, why would you do this? Like, what a stupid choice. That would never happen. And it's so personal to the author. I feel like we as readers need to be really more responsible and careful with that because the author put it in there for a reason and it might be super personal to that person. And I don't know. I guess I just feel that way about Wolverine. Like, I love dogs. So I thought everything that happened with the dog was funny and realistic.
No, he was a great side character. I do love how she always includes dogs in all her books. And this one, especially, I just feel like it was like extra spunky. I feel like he helped move the plot along too.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
also was like a reason Chris and Larissa had to be together because he was their child.
Yeah. I just also I mean, love the book, but I can't wrap my head around ever doing that. Like, if me and Tom's friend found a dog, I would never co.
No,
It would just
no.
be weird. But for Carissa and Larissa and Chris,
Or romance name, Chrissa.
I support it 100%.
Okay. And last thing from me, my only complaint with this book, other than like the triggering stuff, Chris was too in love.
He it was hard because, and it's funny because Abby said he's like her new favorite book boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But he was almost he was simping so hard it almost gave me the ick.
Like that book we read where the guy painted his wall colors the color of her eyes. It was like he didn't do that, but when he got up at 3 a.m. to go shovel her driveway from snow, I was like, ooh, that might be giving me the ick right now, Chris. Like, I know you love her. I know you want to take care of her, but that might be too far.
Yeah. The thing is, and maybe that's who we are. We are very independent women. I would give it that. I think we're almost to a fault. We're so independent. So maybe it would give us the ick and maybe other people find that charming.
Yeah. No, my friend, she actually just went on a date. Shout out if you're listening. She actually doesn't listen to the podcast. I could name drop her right now and she'd have no idea. But anyway, she just went on a date and it was so great. He was like, he's checking all the boxes. It's going so great. And I was like, red flag, immediate red flag. So, like I have issues. So, maybe I'm not the best to judge a romance novel because when Chris was like so in love, I was like, ooh, that's a little much for me.
He was very much a simp. No, whenever he was funding her whole business and they were dating, they haven't actually even officially dated at that point. I was like, wow, this man's gone. I said, how pretty is this girl?
That's why I said I was just imagining her as flawless because I was like, from Chris's point of view, she's like on a pedestal, like a goddess. Because he worshipped her. So, like I said, I love the book. When I say it's a negative, it's more just like my own personal but I love the book. I think everyone should read it who loves Abby Jimenez or loves romance or needs just a new romance. And I will say, I did not read Say You'll Remember Me first, which is technically the first book in this world. It's not a series, but this one's about, I think you said Xavier, one of the other friends in the group. So you can read The Night We Met without reading this, but I did not understand the dynamics of the friend group. And I'm guessing if I'd read this first, I might have understood that better.
Yeah, it expanded a bit more. I read that again in a day. I had to refresh, but I actually had to pull up on Goodreads to be like, what were the names of them again? I did really enjoy it. Yeah, I think that one made me cry, I would say. Like, Say
Mm.
Over Me was sadder. It was beautiful, but it was sadder, and I definitely cried more. I don't think I cried a lot in this one. Like, yeah, like, it was sad because, like, Larissa's life did suck, but it wasn't like a I don't know. Abby always brings in really real issues into all her books. Like, I feel like all her main characters are going through it, and they get through it on the other side. But the what was happening in Say Over Me really made me, like, it was, like, really sad. So,
Mm.
trigger
I'm gonna
warning
have
there.
to
I don't
read
wanna
it.
give anything away, but I recommend that one for you to read because it was beautiful, and just anything she writes.
Well, I'm gonna be starting my TBR challenge soon. I told Kayla I counted up how many's on my shelf that I haven't read, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's bad. It's really bad. So my goal is to read as many as I can, and I have not I physically own these, but I have not read either of these. And you have been recommending. You bought me this one, and you've been recommending I read this since it came out. So I'm like, all right, I'm thinking maybe I might be on an Abby Jimenez kick and might just do them both.
Oh, they were so good. I should reread them. So I'm really tempted to reread The Deal. And I know I said I wasn't going to watch the TV show of Off Campus, or maybe I was. Like, I was, like, leaning on the edge of not watching it, but the trailer is so good. Like, I'm on
Mm.
the edge of my seat. I'm like, can't wait. It's like, oh my God, Mercy, you have to watch the trailer. So I'm tempted to reread The Deal. So I might be doing that. But we'll talk more about our TBRs in our April monthly wrap up, which will be coming out after this episode.
How is April already over?
I don't know. It was because we did spend 5 days of April together.
We did. Yeah. So basically, we worked our butts off through the end of busy season. And then for the past week, I've done nothing but bookish stuff because I went to New York. I did BookCon for 2 days. Then we did our bookish vlogging thing. I came home. I was editing the book stuff. I've been like posting the reels. And now I'm like, we did an interview. Like, I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, we have done so much book content. Like, I love it. But also, I'm like, are we full-time book content creators now? Because we
With
did it for a week
a side full-time job.
with a side hustle called my full-time job.
No, it's been really good. We've been on a kick. We've been actually texting each other and responding. So win for us. So let's get into our next book of the month. So I think the poll is ending tomorrow, but I think I can probably call it from now because I think everyone has voted already. Let me get to Fable. So for those who are listening who are not part of our club in Fable, let me
What
get
are
to the
you
clubs.
doing? Join our book club.
Well, yes, that join our book club. But for this month, I put a poll in. I put a poll in every month, or Marissa will put a poll in. And we were going to switch to fantasy because our book club is fantasy, romance, and thrillers, what me and Marissa read. So the options were When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, Starside by Alex Astor, Bloodbound by Ellis Hunter, Golden Sun for those who read Red Rising with us back in February. Was it February?
I think so. I think it was that long ago.
Daggermouth by H.M. Wolfe, and The Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And the winner is Marissa.
Shield of Sparrows.
So
Look
book
at
number
this.
2 just came out with this one. I've already read it, but I forgot like everything. So we're gonna reread it. I'm gonna reread it. Marissa's reading for the first time. It's helping her with her TBR challenge.
Thank goodness, because this has been sitting on my shelf since before Christmas because I was at Target and they were having like a buy two, get one 50% off or something. And so, of course, I bought books and I had to have this one because look at it. It's gorgeous. And I want to read it. I just, haven't had a good excuse. And now,
And the good thing is we can immediately hop into book 2 because this one, from what I recall, it's complex. Like it's building a world. There's like a lot of plots going on, so it's exciting to get into it. But it's even more exciting that book 2 is already out. So happy to get back into our like fantasy-esque mindset. So that's our next book of the month. So the episode on that book will come out the last day of May. So stay tuned for that. And we have a lot of other content coming out this month. So make sure to tune in. But thank you for listening. This is Kayla.
and Marissa.
And make sure to hit subscribe and then follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Book Talks Podcast and join our book club on Fable.